and welcome to For The Drive, and on this episode of Friends of For The Drive I'm taking a look at a Maserati GranTurismo, but with a twist. So if you've seen any of the other Friends of For The Drive episodes, you'll know the format, that I'm with the owner, they take me for a spin, I ask them a few questions, and then obviously as long as they're willing to, they let me drive their car. I had the plan with Dean, the owner of this beautiful black Maserati GranTurismo, but he was actually happy to just chuck me the keys. It's a 4.2 litre V8, producing about 400 brake horsepower, which will get you to 60 in about 5 seconds, which is obviously not going to set any records alight, but I think considering how heavy the car is and how comfortable it is still no mean feat. And my god, that Italian V8 noise coming out the back end of those exhausts is proper nice. So I mean you'll hear the engine getting quite loud all over the video because I am thoroughly enjoying that, but let's start it up so you can hear it properly when it's stationary. So let's go through the basics and the more everyday aspect of this GT Cruiser. It's incredibly comfortable to drive. I mean, I had it for a couple of days. It's so comfy. The power has been not restricted, but it's obviously just the pedal. There's a lot more throttle movement before you start given power. So you don't get that kind of twitch that you do when you're in sport mode, or if you're in a car that's got the power there waiting to go. So it's just really easy to use. Steering wheel is nice and comfortable. You don't get that. It's not super light, but it's not like wrenching around like a Land Rover Defender, for example. Jumping in from, you know, whatever car that I'm in into this and just immediately feeling comfortable, I think is impressive. The exhaust is just about audible when you're just cruising. I mean, I'm on the motorway doing 70 miles an hour, and you can, very nice, just a little bit of a tone. If you drop a couple of gears, then obviously you start hearing that beautiful Italian V8 roar. For an everyday, I mean, the owner of this, it isn't his daily, which is fair enough, but I would actually almost argue that you could daily something like this if you were willing to pay for the fuel, because obviously a 4.2 litre V8 it's going to be fairly thirsty, even if you're going to be taking it moderately around the roads and things like that. Drop a couple of gears. Oh yes! I mean, that was a drop to fourth. So it's the six-speed ZF gearbox, dropped to fourth, just accelerated, not even foot to the floor, and you just get that, you can hear it being really angry at the back. It's not too intrusive, but it's there, so when you want to hear it, really, really like hypnotic and enticing, because I mean, you could be doing, this car would obviously quite easily do well over 100, I think it went up to 160, 180 miles an hour, I think, in top speed. So you could quite easily just keep going and going and going through the gears. Obviously your license might be taken away, but you would just be in heaven listening to that engine. And that wasn't hard acceleration, it just sounds so good. In a second, 4,000 revs. Floor it. Oh yes. It's just, I mean, the power delivery is so smooth. yet savage. It sounds so savage, yet you're not feeling like you're out of control. You're not feeling, you're not. There's no like fright factor to the actual acceleration. It just sounds so dramatic because of that engine and because of the exhaust. I've always maintained that Maserati have, I mean, most V's sound amazing, to be honest. Most like performance engines sound great, but the Maserati, like the Italian V8 with the Maserati exhaust system, has its own distinctive kind of wail and like scream when it's being pushed hard. It just sounds really, really good and really distinctive. This is a speed camera, so I've got to be too silly. Yes! Woohoo! Beautiful. I don't want to get this back. Sorry, Dean. You ain't having it back, baby. I mean, no car's perfect, but let's say driving it at the moment, I've actually found very little of its capability and bits and pieces like that. Unless it's so well hidden because you don't want to see it that I physically can't find it. But the one thing that it hasn't got, a couple of things that it hasn't got that I would go, you know, a bit of a shame. I cannot find a cigarette lighter port, like a 12 volt power point in the front of the car to charge phone, whatever, sat nav. Unless it's well hidden, and if you own one and you know where one is, then please let me know, because at least then I'll know for next time I ever get to drive one of these. Or you can even pass it on to other people that don't know, but I cannot find one. And we're going to the radio, it doesn't have iPod like USB connectivity as standard. I am excited. We're not that far away from some incredible like mountain roads where I'm obviously not gonna go too bad. Once again, not my car, but I have been up and down there in a couple of different cars, so I know the area, and I'm gonna put this through its paces to see what it handles like. It is a big heavy car, as I mentioned earlier, so it's the thing that I imagine I'm going to feel it as you go through a tight corner. And if you've got a chicane, for example, or a nice little S-bend, I imagine I'm going to feel that weight being transferred. But you can't, I won't find out until I try it. So I think all I need to do now is actually get onto some nice windy roads and see what this is like to actually play about with. It's a very heavy car. Oh my god, does it go? It is stunning to drive. I mean, it is gripping like anything, and the steering is giving me a good sense of confidence of where the front wheels are facing. I mean, I'm not pushing this that hard, to be honest, and I am having a great time. It is so much fun. The thing that I'd say is the brakes are a little on the weak side, depending on obviously how hard you're going to push it, but it is a GT Cruiser, so it's not designed for, chicanes, rallies or anything like that. So, take it with a pinch of salt. You've got to make sure that you give yourself enough braking distance for a corner. Acceleration is so so much fun, so hypnotic. And if you stay in the, you know, about 4,500 revs, it just gives you power when you need it. So you're just flittering around second and third, and it just powers through the corners. If you've had bad experiences with Maseratis, then fair enough, but this is fantastic. It can go from a comfy GT cruiser to quite a bit of fun around some nice corners in some Welsh roads like that. It's quite tight, let's take it nice and gentle. There we go. Bit on the power, straighten up. It just does it. One thing I have noticed out on the road, there we go, is the fact that the gear changes, gear selectors are way nicer than, say for example, the ones that are on my car and most modern cars, to be honest, because they're normally like micro switch clips. These feel they've actually got some travel in them, so it's really nice. But the only downside of the fact that they're on the pillar, not on the steering wheel, is that I think they're a little bit too small. I could, you know, Lamborghinis and Ferraris and even the Alphas are quite big. So when you're driving along, no matter where your hand is, you can quite easily reach where you need to reach to change gear, you know, to up or down or whatever. Whereas these, because they're only about that long, and because they stay stationary, a couple of times I've gone, oh okay, and I've had to find it again. And obviously I'm not racing, but it's just a little bit of an annoyance. So I suppose I should probably try and make some sort of conclusion up about what I think about this lovely Maserati GranTurismo. I mean, pros, engine, humongous pro. I love the styling. I quite like the interior colour. It's quite bold. I'm normally a play safe interior kind of guy, but I actually don't mind the red. It's a nice tone. Such a comfy cruiser. So capable of just soaking up a lot of miles, as well as actually quite capable around some nice little bends. Cons, I mean, the cigarette lighter thing, that's just kind of bugging me. I don't know whether that's a little bit over exaggeration, but I mean, if you know where the one, if there is one in here somewhere and you know where it is, then please let me know, because I cannot find it anywhere. Gear shifters could do with being, you know, almost double the size, just so you know your hand can reach it a little bit easier if you're trying to change gear, if you go around a corner or anything like that. And the brakes, I say 9 times out of 10 with normal driving, they're absolutely fine. But I'd say if you want to take it for some spirited driving, I would say maybe, yeah, the brakes could be a little sharper. But all in all, if you want a luxury comfy GT cruiser with that like Italian flair and a beautiful sounding V8 that can actually have a bit of fun through some nice corners and, you know, accelerate and give you a bit of that sense of like that tingle and that sensation of excitement when you're driving it fast, you know, this is definitely a contender. the best day today driving this round. Even the motorway drive's been nice, because every now and then you can just like drop a gear, have a little spurt of acceleration, and I'm getting, and it, you know, a bit of stroking the ego. People do turn their heads. Yeah, in conclusion, I'd say this is a fantastic little car. Fantastic car. You know, it's a perfect car for a daily. It's a perfect car for a weekend toy. If you're up for cruising around the beautiful roads, like, you know, southern France, Wales. If you want to go up to the Lake District and things like that, there are some fantastic roads that you could this would soak up and enjoy. So yeah, I am loving this car. Don't want to give it back. This is a lovely little car. So as we come to a close on my day with the GranTurismo, it has been such a good experience. I mean, it's obvious, everyone knows that it's a really good and capable GT car, and I mean, it soaks up. I spent probably about 3 or 4 hours on the motorway this morning driving up to Wales, and it just soaked them up with no problem. But I must admit, I am so pleasantly surprised how much fun it can have through the bends. And yeah, it's just been an amazing time. So a humongous thank you to Dean for giving me the keys for a couple of days. I really do appreciate it. That is the end of the video. Thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.